What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 23 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Karl Franz Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, another battle-heavy episode saw us fight 6 or 7 fights, but it wasn't so much the battles that were important as it was the fact that we have reached a domination victory at turn 85. Pretty darn good if I say so myself. Obviously, our money situation is, well, I mean, it's good in the sense that 136,000 gold per turn is very solid. At turn 85, it's just nothing compared to what I got used to with the dwarfs, but it's more than enough to fund the rest of the campaign, especially with the help of those materials at sea, which will effectively finish up, I don't know, at least half of the buildings in the entire empire. It's lovely. Anyway, in terms of what we got to do this time, it's a brand new turn, so everybody got to start moving. I do believe we have at least one battle, Elspeth versus Clan Rictus, as Tretch Craventail has at last been hunted down, and otherwise we're just gonna have to wait and see. So, and we'll start by moving to Frigastrex's lair out here with Karl, and still look to hunt down Mr. Throggy. Not that we really care about him ourselves, but just so that he leaves our Kislevite friends alone. Man, and once again it's going to be the situation where Boris Ursus gets an absolutely massive empire of his own in Norska, but that's fine. Again, it'll be a big old buffer state with the entire empire hopefully surrounded by complete and powerful buffer states, that we don't have to deal with protecting our borders much. Alrighty, Dolph Hertvigens, you had a very nice battle last episode, got a lot of comments on that one. You will head to Ar Anrak, which is probably poorly defended, and hopefully the Auto Resolve doesn't hate you so much that it doesn't let you kill at least this territory. Hello. I do see you are approaching Valkia Pyrrhic Victory, and it'll kill a war wagon. Okay, alright, Roger, we can speed through that. It is a little bit of an annoyance, but not a big enough deal. Let's just, let's just max speed through it. I mean, what's the enemy gonna do here? Even without them reinforcing down a valley, they just have no chance. I'm tempted to modify the army in some ways, but I mean, it's an army that's done so well in its current state that we don't need to do things like add steam tanks or something, even if they would probably help with the auto-resolve. I was originally envisioning getting you getting Dolph like a little follower army that does these little auto-resolves, and I might still do that. We'll see. Funnily enough, it might be easier to deal with the forces of chaos in the sense that we are going to be able to probably capture a lot of these settlements, you know, like the non-Dark Fortress settlements fairly easily, for obvious reasons. Alright, anyway, let's just get everybody on field. Try not to distract myself too much. Anyway, yeah, you can go here. It doesn't really matter. You can get, well, actually, no, you should be in the center. Let's put you here. Let's put the engineer right beside you. Let's put you out in front, as we like to do, but I guess close enough to still provide everybody your buff. You guys will still need to be not so much blobbed up, but need to be put in slightly different locations from each other. There we go. And what are you? Oh, you're the wizard. All right, so Dolph, you're going to be in group 1, you're going to be group 2. You guys, minus Dolph, minus the wizard, are going to be group 3, like so. You're going to be group 4, and turn off your skirmish mode. In fact, I guess we should turn everybody's skirmish mode off. You're going to be right here behind the Outriders and get ready to move. Speaking of the Outriders, you're going to be group 5, group 6, and group 7 minus 1, small thing. You guys should be at the outer edges, so you and you need to switch. Like so. Alright, and I think that's it. Turn everybody's skirmish mode off, just because I don't trust it, and start the battle. Alright, I always forget that this guy summons these guys. You guys move forward. Dolph, you can rush forward as well. I think that we're free to cast a few spells here and there. You guys target this unit of boar boys. Let's go Overcast Burning Head through the enemy line, and you guys back off. You guys can actually turn on skirmish mode. Ha, I lied. Alright, there's that burning head. Yeah, it's gonna clip a few units, nice, and this is a range unit, so we'll pop that off here. And Dolph start moving through the enemies and annoying them. You guys can keep slowly approaching, and I guess you guys can keep approaching as well. And Dolph, go charge. You guys all attack this unit of boar boys. And you guys can switch and attack that unit of boar boys as well. Dolph, get ready to charge it, just so that it slows down a teensy bit. And, ooh, I see that the One of our Pistoliers units was getting damaged by that unit of error, boys. Alrighty, enemies still kind of milling around. You know what? Now we're in a decent position. Well, let's pop you guys forward just a teensy bit more. You guys can reposition yourselves. You guys are still doing okay. And just move out to the side. Let's also, as soon as everybody is in place, there we go. You guys are good. Don't keep charging. Buff everybody up with a nice big old fire spell and max speed it to end with that battle's hours. Yeah, auto-resolve, that's going to be a Pyrrhic victory, I'm sure. Yeah, this is definitely an army that showcases just how insane the auto-resolve is compared to what should be happening, because the enemies have absolutely no chance here, and it thinks that it'll kill off a bunch of our units. Anyway, we don't need to chase because it's a settlement battle. Alright, so it took a minute. No big deal. Out of curiosity, let's see, we got 24-15, yeah, the war wagons did roughly even with each other, slightly better than the Outriders, interestingly enough. Surprisingly on the regular war wagons as well. Go figure. I'm mostly surprised because these guys are kind of snipey. So I wouldn't have expected them to get as many kills as the Outriders did, or as much damage, and kills, I guess, well, minus you, but this one was missing one of its war wagons because it got hurt by the auto-resolve previously. At least this saves us the HP if we need to auto-resolve next turn, as there are a bunch of more of these red-eye territories nearby. Anyway, hey, another Van Horstman's, nice pickup. Occupy.
Someone get me a report on the defense.
There we go, and another coachman as well. I will try to remember to put you on somebody. You don't need the Van Horstmans. I gotta figure out what to get you in terms of your items, but we don't have enough there. Delved Heights, we can go into whatever, doesn't really matter. It's going to be traded away rather shortly. Yeah, we really need to send somebody here because I wonder if these guys can take it. Maybe they can take it without... Oh, I really also wanted to put a few of those frostworms in an army. They're really quite strong. Anyway, at least an SFO. Gavin, I guess you're just going to push on towards the Immortal's Hold. I see Grimgor has not yet arrived. Or revived, I should say. So, moving on in. Ah, there he is. I lied. He did revive. How to resolve this for obvious reasons, and we'll see if Grimgor tries to go for you. I wonder if he can reach you from here and will immediately attack you while you're damaged from the auto-resolve. Doesn't look like he can. Probably the wall slowing him down. We probably then want to keep you somewhere here. We don't want you to be fighting Grimgor. I was going to send you up here, but now I'm kind of iffy on that. This is just an auto-resolve sort of helper army. We'll see what Grimgor does and how he reacts to all this. Can we hit him in one turn? We can. Alright, so that should be good. Alrighty, who's up next? Jürgen Wagner, you are proceeding to... I'm gonna say Nalheim, probably up here, and then loop back around. That was the plan last episode. Whether it's still the plan, well, I guess it is. Alrighty, go into encamp since you can't reach the place, and it's gonna be a bit of a waste of some of your movement. But oh well. And what can you do? Unfortunately, these guys still have a ton of territory, and we're still going to have to deal with them for a while. And speaking of tons of territory, between them, between Clan Eschen and Clan Scryer, they have more than 30 settlements, so there's some pretty solid rat empires to be dealing with as well. I was about to say auto-resolve, but then saw the war wagons. And now auto-resolve. Alright. There we go, and war wagons are fine this time. You never know when they'll be fine, or, well, when they'll be not so fine. Hey, we got a potion of healing out of that. Imperial Pegasus on some guy, and was that the end of Silostra's faction? Now they got a little tiny army running around. Hopefully these guys can kill it. Go grab Castle Longyi then, simply because we'll want to trade it away. And while we're here... we're nearly done with Bretonnia, and actually speaking of Bretonnia, once again between the episodes I did a little bit of the old switcheroo, i.e. swapping some settlements around, namely Castle Drakenfels and Hellspire, traded for the Barrows of Quila and the Black Chasm. We've also traded Montfort here for Castle Aquitaine, and I think there was some other minor settlement, Vifin, for something else. I don't really want these, but they have the frickin' Imperial territory thing on them, and I guess we're just gonna have to have them because of that. Well, whatever. And technically speaking, we need to get Sud and Kesselsong gas as well, but, well, we're gonna have to figure out what way we can do that. It's most likely only going to be via trading Mousillon and stuff. Though it would be unfortunate to have to give away Sigmarsheim. It's kind of far away from all of this. And Sigmarsheim is a real thing, but nonetheless. Anyway, let's see. Who's next after all this? I guess that was Waldemar that moved, so Theodoric von Blutten. Is it time to reset you as yet? These guys aren't out of the picture yet. You should probably hunt down Ugg Troll Eaters, so let's go after him in regular stance. Let's go after him. Kill him off. Grab the Sea Corpse, land, and then head to Cassos, which is nearly the last of these settlements auto-resolve. This better not kill our war wagons. I didn't quick save, but no, we're okay. And then healed us. We still got that Sea Corpse to go after. Sort of Strife, sure. Another Tradesman, also sure. And then let's grab the Sea Corpse, and then I fear you won't be able to land to go after Cassos next turn, but we'll see. And loot the carcass, and auto-resolve again. Hey, didn't kill him. Alrighty. I didn't feel like auto-resolving, so I didn't risk it. Or I didn't feel like quick-saving, rather. A little bit of cash, and I guess we... Huh. This is the only place you can land? Well, darn. Alright. Well, let's just hope that we can go after Cassos, then. Alright, go as close to it as you can. It is not a well-defended settlement. Oh, we got some rebels out there with, interestingly, demigriffs, war wagons, and greatswords. Still find it very odd to see super high-tier rebels, especially since this, well... This doesn't have the equivalent of all of those structures that would allow them to build the super high-level rebels. Alright, I guess it's time for Elspeth to face off against Tretch Craventail, then. Alright, what do we have here? Well, his own army is kind of meh, and it's mostly piles of clan rats and Skaven slaves. But admittedly, it's always fun to see a massive amount of Skaven be obliterated. And on top of that, there's no guarantee that our army, which is, let's say, 3/4 made up of range units, doesn't stop firing because of the no-fire bug, and likes to rear its ugly head, specifically when fighting against the rats because of the sheer number of models they have on the field. So, there is a distinct difficulty from that if we encounter it. So let's find out. Go.
I perceive amethyst vapors in the air. Let us ensure Shaiish flows in our favor.
Alrighty, here we go. Big old pile of rats and Tretch Craventail himself down here, getting hit with the first of the Spirit Leeches and losing about 30% of his HP, though I do imagine the cannon fire contributed to that, at least somewhat. I really like this particular map, because it looks pretty darn neat, and is that a piece of a structure up there? That's pretty neat. And it looks like, by the architecture, it's not a Skaven structure up there. It's like a, I don't know, piece of a ruined fortress or a facade of, I don't know, either Dwarven architecture or maybe Imperial architecture. Kind of hard to tell because you can't zoom further. But anyway, a reason I like this particular Skaven map is because it is, despite the Skaven corruption, it's pretty light. It's pretty bright. We've got the lava or whatever lighting the place up, and that allows us to actually see what the heck is going on, which should make for a pretty solid and good fight. Oh, there's another structure over there. Let me just see if I can get closer. No, please, please. No dice. Oh, well. Oh, well. All good. Anyway, Elspeth starts the day. Looks with her spell work. Looks like Tretch takes another Spirit Leech and is down to about half of his HP, while we have Elspeth land and destroy the enemy Plague Claws over here real quick, because the Plague Claws were hitting us back and have done, what, about 45% damage to one of our Great Cannons. Didn't knock out any of the individual entities, but still obviously an issue. In the meantime, it's time to start slowly but surely moving all of our troops into the enemy settlement. Looks like some plague monks are wise to the plan and will start moving towards us, but, well, they have to get through the tank to go through this little choke point. And again, medieval battlefield, if you have a tank and a choke point, enemy has not got too much in the way of recourse, I'd wager. There we go, and obviously the grenades don't hurt either. Alright, Plague Monks charging in, and while Plague Monks do have a pretty massive amount of weapon damage, their armor piercing is relatively low, and these tanks have 165 armor, so pretty darn solid. Their melee defense is pretty lackluster, but with that amount of armor and the solid HP that they have, it'll be difficult for the little Plague Monks to do too much here. And I get a little bit of help from the Empire Captain. I actually thought that they'd run through him to get to the tank, but apparently not. But I don't imagine he's going to be too susceptible to their attacks, either with 100 armor himself. There we go. Plus, we don't get to see these Pegasus riding Empire Captains fighting infantry too often. They're usually sent down to fight single entities, so I'll let them do a little bit of that. And ooh, looks like a pile of Death Runners will make their way forward. Now, those guys are armor piercing, and they have that Weeping Blade armor reduction minus 50%, dropping even the tank down to 85, which is very minimal. So we're going to pop that Soul Blight on them, and then even move Elspeth in to help out and destroy them fast as we can. That Weeping Blade is such a devastating debuff. And it really makes me want to play Skaven, which, a likelihood is pretty high fairly soon. Anyway, looks like the Death Runners are out. We got plenty more rats where that came from, however, as the battle has only just begun. Over on the other ramp, it does look like there are a few more clan rats, which are being held back by our officers' squad. Certainly a unit we don't see in melee too often. But they are nice to see. I like that full plate, the guns, the arming swords all together. We won't see them too much longer here as the Knights of the Black Rose move on in and start making those clan rats bleed, both literally and figuratively, as they do apply the bleed. Alrighty, well, they should be able to get through them just fine, and again, heavy armor means clan rats aren't going to be too effective against us. Elspeth, the tank, and the Pegasus, or the Empire Captain on Pegasus, will move forward as well. I feel like the dragon, or any dragon really, should probably have like a massive leadership bonus to it. You know, like if you have a dragon on your side, your team probably has a huge morale boost, wouldn't you think? It's kind of like the psychological aspect of certain things, kind of like Titans in 40k, whereas, I mean, obviously 40k is kind of silly and dialed up to 11, but everything's dialed up to 11. But at the same time, Titans are, well, yeah, that's a silly concept, but they do have a pretty big psychological value on top of their weaponry and all that. Orcs may not find it so pleasant to fight against an Imperial force if they think an avatar of Gork or Mork is going after them as well. And that big old walker. But anyway, bounce power is at about 70% in our favor. Elspeth gets another big old, not Spirit Leech, but Purple Son of Zoraeus moving through the enemy ranks. And Elspeth is nice in the fact that she's basically the only caster where you're often casting Purple Son of Zoraeus, as it's a spell I pretty much never use with this lore, because it's a great lore, but Spirit Leech spam and Soul Blight spam are generally speaking much more useful. But since she can cast that rather unreliable Vortex at 3 mana, I guess, we can just keep on using it. Anyway, tank is working together with those Knights of the Black Rose now. I think we'll put some tanks. Some tanks or land ships in one of our knightly armies. I haven't decided which ones yet. And the tanks don't do fire damage, do they? No, unfortunately not. I think the Deliverance tank does fire damage, but otherwise, yeah, this thing just ramming things, and it's up to 500 kills, doing very solid work in melee. But yeah, having tanks act like the tip of the spear for one of our crusading armies might be pretty neat. So I think we'll do that. Should be pretty fun. Anyway, another Soul Blight comes down. There's still a fair few rats on the field, but the balance of power continues to climb in our favor and is now at 70%. Let's see. Elspeth at 670 kills, tanks 500. Considering that the tank is having to keep up with a dragon as well as with all that spell work, including Vortex spell work. Again, that's pretty darn impressive. You gotta love these things. And just gotta make sure not to overuse them. They're still not as obnoxious as Thunder Barges or Dreadquakes, but they are very strong. Alrighty, what do we have here? Oh, would you look at that? It's a little assassin. I think this thing took a few spirit leeches from Elspeth, and it's going to take at least one more. And similar to Tretch, who I believe is dead, the enemy heroes just don't appear to be giving much value to the enemy army. Too much spirit leech for them. Anyway, we have started to move down the other ramps as well, and even our iron sides are in this particular fight, but it looks like they're not really going to be needed, which is fine. In this particular army, Elspeth's army tends to do most of its damage at range via the units of iron sides and the artillery and such, and of course Elspeth herself. So it's nice to let the Knights of the Black Rose do a little bit more work. Though obviously in the previous battles where Elspeth was looking to get overrun by, you know, several stacks of undead at the same time, then the Knights of the Black Rose got to play as well. Another really nice thing, I don't remember if I mentioned this before, but another really nice thing about the Knights of the Black Rose is because of that Iron Resolve thing, they have a really good sort of synergy with the grenade units. Yeah, I have talked about this before. In that the grenades can, you know, hit them and clip them and damage them, but they generally speaking won't kill them. When I think about it, a really nice combination would be a bunch of Knights of the Black Rose and then an Earthblood or a Life Wizard, a Jade Wizard, and then grenade units. Could even use the Knights of the Black Rose as melee infantry like that. Too bad they can't dismount, but even if they could, as we've learned in the when playing Bretonia with SFO, dismounting units causes desync, unfortunately, even if you add it. A bit of a shame that CA never did, but maybe it's a limitation of the engine, who knows. Anyway, the bounce power's at about 90, closing in on 95% in our favor. One more Spirit Leech comes down on a unit of Skaven Slave Slingers this time, and just trying to get rid of whatever units we can, since there are no more real critical targets here. The tank and the Knights of the Black Rose will cut down the last of the rats, and it looks like the battle is just about done. Here come even more Knights of the Black Rose, rushing through those rats, which are shaken, wavering, terrified, and about to be shattered, I think. There we go. A couple of more seconds of charging, and there we go. With that, the last of the enemy units will shatter, and the battle will be ours. Alright. Well, Tretch had a chance to sally out, didn't he? I'm pretty sure we gave him the opportunity, but I guess he'd rather die here than on the field. I don't think that this went better for him than it would have done if he had at least tried to surround our army. Alright, there we go. Very, very nice. And certainly a good showing from the Steam Tank, 734 kills. Certainly showing that even, well, perhaps especially in melee, how scary these things are, getting a little over half of Elspeth's kills, and approaching half of her damage as well. Of course, Elspeth cleaned house, but she always does, especially with the nearly free purple sun spam in piles of rats. Otherwise, lots of great work from the Knights of the Black Rose, with Back in Black, our only named unit, getting by far the most kills and the most damage. Again, my superstition continues to hold true, at least with those guys. For the gunners, that actually didn't do too much, but Hagen's marksman slightly beaten out by one of the unnamed ones. Do you guys have names? Oh, we should probably name the war wagons in this army. You know what, let's occupy the place first. Oh, right. That reminds me. Well, first of all, we got that Defeat Tretch Craventail trait, which is just fantastic. Frankly, it's a shame to have to destroy him, because I love this trait on basically every single army, because speed is, again, I'm of the opinion that it's probably the best trait. What I would like... Okay, wait. Longshot Cab, Biting Blade, another Coachman, another Smuggler, enemy killed in battle. There was two things I would like to do. You, go here.
Elspeth
The cannons are lovely, but this is our Nuln army, and it deserves something a little bit, let's say, tankier. So the tank replaced the cannons. I hate to let them go considering they're high levels, so we're probably going to put them in another army. Oh, I also don't like the fact that you're... okay, well, we'll deal with it later.
Yes, General.
Yo, can you go... Oh, you're just short of being in this army? Huh, I wonder. Wait, if you go into Wolfram Blaze's army, like so, and then... Can you trade? Alright, wait. We want to take this guy, like so, and then do it again, and then give them both back. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I just gotta remember that Baldric Hart is the champion. Yeah, and then you are the drill sergeant. Alright, but you will want for the cause as well, mostly to be able to summon another officer's squad, which is really nice in here. And so let's do officer squad, and let's get We Are the Elite as well. Oh, and let's get Guardian all the way through Killing Blow. There's other stuff that we want in here, like training, but we'll get that going shortly. Let's max out Retinue Bard for you as well. You are the champion, so I guess you can have Woundmaker. Should probably have Mark of Hish. We could do the hero trait, but it's probably not enough for us to care about. I don't care for Regiment of Renown and that it's useless. We definitely want Scarred Vet, though, and I guess we'll get a couple points in Devastating Charge. Would have been nice to max it out, but I don't think there's any... Oh, actually, Deadly Blade. We won't have enough points. Yeah, these guys are kind of point hungry. I guess I could have foregone Retinue Bard and lead the state troops specifically on Baldric because he's the champion, but at the same time it's not like they're bad traits and they could still come in handy if this guy's far enough away. Anyway, the engineers, you have leveled up quite nicely. I actually probably should have leveled you before the fight, but then promptly forgot about it, as I am wont to do. Increase mobility, and let's go Sigmar's Ward Mark of Hish, and then we'll start moving through 2 extra powder afterwards. You have reached rank 50. And you have 1 point remaining. I guess you could just grab Apprentice Marksman. There's nothing else important here, is there? I guess there's Bandolier, but again, these guys never run out of ammunition, so it's a completely pointless skill. I really hesitate to think of, or even attempt to think of a situation where they would need that. Maybe if you're just using those guys, like an army of nothing but engineers, then they might need the extra ammo to actually kill enemies. Huh. Might be fun to put a bunch of engineers on those mechanical horses and then, I don't know, a bunch of noble sons abroad or pistoliers. Sort of more of a hero-heavy army, but limited number of actual units. Could be fun to make a couple of those. Admittedly, we have, in some ways, a couple of those, like Emil Corton's army, but you know what I mean. Anyway, you cannot reach Rozov Van Hal here. The Van Hal relation. Anyway, I guess we gotta declare war on you. I assume you're allied with... Oh, you're just in a non-aggression pact with these guys. That's almost surprising. Carcassonne, out of curiosity, how much is this worth to you? Join war against Ramateb Dynasty. 5.7, so basically nothing. Is Bordelot Errant fighting them? Who are they fighting again? You are fighting... Oh, they are fighting Bordelot Errant. Out of curiosity, Bordelot Errant... If we join your war against these guys for 4.4, and then ask for Torbidoux, and this will give you 29k. You could use this to develop some of your territories. Maybe that's not a bad thing. I believe Castle Sangas and Sud are already maxed out, so maybe it's a good idea to let them... And then we can trade this thing to Carcassonne. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll do that. I know it's a lot of money, but it'll just make this easier. Plus, we'll get that money back, don't worry. Once we confederate these guys and start trading these guys' territory, we'll get it back, so it'll be fine. Torbidoux, I would like to trade you for, if possible, Parash. 31 for Parash. Like so. Okay, no money. Alright, now if you're wondering why I care about Parash, I do not care about Parash. I care about Montlac, which is part of our, technically, territory. So, we're gonna now trade Montlac for Parash, like so, and give us your money. I don't really care about the military alliance because I don't trust the Wood Elves. Alright, that kind of screws the border over, but whatever. There we go, and that gives us these 2 territories, which are quote-unquote imperial. Ugh, yeah, the borders are horrific because of all this, but I don't think there's anything we could do about it. Maybe if we trade Castle Quinnell from them and then take Parash back. How much is Parash worth to you, out of curiosity? 10.
What do you want?
Huh. I might be able to buy it from these guys and give it back to these guys just so the border is less awful. I might do that. I could risk one military alliance, maybe. And just hope that they don't attack the various dwarfs. Oh, they do have vision of these guys. But they actually don't hate each other all that much, interestingly enough. Probably because of the gifts and treaties. Interesting. Certainly something to think about. Anyway, to do that, we will need money. To get money, Emil von Corden. Wait, do we need to level these guys up out of curiosity? Not really. I mean, we do, but we can also do it after the fight. It's not super critical. Do we need to level you up? You have 6 points. We should probably go through... Oh, that's a question. Do we go for leading the charge, give speed and charge bonus to every single cavalry unit here, or do we make you personally more powerful? I'm not sure yet. And I guess I'm going to have to wait on that to decide. Therefore, you can hold the line, and then we will wait. Let's just attack. Go after Mr. Razov. Huh. I wonder, if we were to declare war on these guys, would they immediately be attacking us? There's barely any defenders there, so it won't make any kind of difference. Alright, just attack it then. Let's see what kind of enemies we got here. Ow, this is auto-resolvable anyway. Ooh, hello. Looks like Mr. Vicious the Despicable has actually got a pretty solid stack. Gotta resolve this. And... okay, now what possible reason... why auto-resolve? Why would this Empire Captain... keep in mind, all 4 of these Empire Captains are... they're all on demigryphs. So this one guy... got 80% of his HP loss compared to the 25% on everybody else. Got barely any kills or damage compared to everybody else. Why? What the heck, game? I continue to not understand the auto-resolve. Just out of curiosity, he has the same one item and the same stats. In fact, he has slightly better stats than a lot of the others because, I don't know, he has slightly more attack. So again... auto-resolve is nutty. Anyway, you, I guess, can go into encamp stance and heal them all up. At least that shouldn't be an issue, and then we'll deal with their stats later on. And also, I take it I moved that guy out of order, didn't I? Anyway, Leopold von Bildhofen, you know what? I don't dislike your concept, so I think we're actually going to send you out as an army. Because look, we got 2 support melee infantry, 2 mainline melee infantry. We got 4 units, including 2 vanguard deployable of close quarters infantry. We got 2 mid-range infantry, missile infantry. We got 2 long-range infantry, a little bit of help from the mid-range war machines, and then the noble sons abroad, which are kind of like medium... they're kind of like medium missile cav, because they're heavy enough after all the buffs that they're probably past the point of light cav. And yeah, it's not a bad one. I was generally just getting these guys on field so that we had, you know, so that we could put them somewhere. But yeah, we need a lot more armies at this border, essentially, because there's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of chaos. We need to send a few more here. There are no armies in this area at all. Throughout the Unclean is pretty strong. We can see his armies running around, and we can see the armies of the Slaneshi running around as well. And we're just going to have to deal with them, because I don't imagine the Kislevites will do it for us. Oh, we should also send somebody down here to kill off these guys and take their territory. You're rather close, but I think maybe we'll build another army to send down here. Oh, actually, we could probably make use of these guys once we confederate them. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. Do you have any Stir River patrols? I see 1. I see 2. Just 2. I wish we would, you know, I wish these guys would spend more time actually recruiting their unique units. It would be nice if they program them to do that. Anyway, Marius Leitdorf, I've been meaning to reset you for a while. Let's move you, Theon Calbin, here. Let's trade all of the units from Marius's army to you. And then reset Marius and bring him back with the appropriate stats, because he has the wrong ones. Because I didn't know what I was going to do with his army at the time. Anyway, we'll do this. And we need 1 less troop, so I guess you can lose one of the mortars. All the regular mortars are supposed to be replaced by Sootzen's guns anyway. Well, actually, these 2 are supposed to be replaced by 1 more Sootzen's gun and possibly a Stir River Patrol. Haven't decided. Either way, we can say goodbye to this mortar, and then you, sir, can be reset. We'll bring you back in 3 turns. Oh, lovely. And this guy has to travel to the next location anyway, so that's fine. Alrighty, what else do we got? Gustav Schneider, you're kind of just sitting there, you're fine as you are. And Balthazar Gelt, yes, you can head to Reikmarsh. Like so, with a quick auto-resolve. And occupy. Alright, bloody hands are nearly gone, don't collect the income, we will be trading the place. Ooh, right, after we fought with Elspeth, I don't know why Gelt reminded me, but I wanted to get a few names in here. So you're a Stormhammer, and then you can be Thomas the Pain Engine. Like so, man, we have a lot of tank names, perhaps unsurprisingly. Wandering Town for you. And let's do, how about Rolling Rumblers for you? Like so. I know that we're keeping at least, where do we have here? Did I name the cannons in here? Heldstorms, Wrens, and Drake Stoppers. I did. Alright, well, I was going to say I have another name for a cannon, but alas, not this one. Oh, you have handguns as well. Let's name one of you the Iron Concord. Lovely. I think I forgot to name stuff last episode, or maybe I didn't, but, ooh. We're starting to name Knights of the Panther now. Well, I guess they haven't really fought a fight, so have they earned the right to have names? Let's do one. Alright, Order of the Jaguar, like so. And are we good? Maybe two more names? I have a bunch of names for flagellants, but, well, we've got a couple more flagellant armies to make, and Volkmar's army isn't really a flagellant army, only ostensibly so, at least while we sort of change up some stuff. I'll think about it. You know what, let's just continue. Anyway, let's see who is next in the order. I was about to move you, but let's go for whoever's actually next. You, Archrecruiter Hartman, you're fine as you are. Aldebrand Ludenhoff, you're fine until we possibly send you to deal with stuff. You, can you reach Heldegrad? Looks like no. And just short. Alright, that's fine. And camp right here outside of it. Looks like they have some decent stuff. Ar Anrak, we got a giant. We got lots of big boys. Biggins and black orcs, and lots of big boys as well. Yeah, they might sally out if we besiege, so that'll be good. I'd obviously prefer it, as last time he fought, we saw him obliterate an enemy settlement. Anyway, which way do we send you? I guess up this way? Well, I guess we could send Troop Train down to grab Ulrich's throat. And then back up this way, meaning Von Kessel might be better off going this way. Alright, Von Kessel, go here. He's starting to heal up a little bit, and you also need this Warrior Priest, but you'll get there. Mr. Boris, you can head for Skjold. I don't believe Tech Thief will be able to reach it. I probably should have popped you into Trench's stance, but it's too late now. And attacking Skjold, I presume, will continue to hurt our poor things in the woods. Those poor things. Auto-resolve. Wait, can we switch you to... We cannot. Alright, well, that was a waste of time. That was a colossal waste of 1.5 seconds. Auto-resolve. Yeah. And occupy. More territory for Boris Ursus. Hey, but we did get an obsidian lodestone out of it, and I don't complain about those. Alrighty, who do we got up next? I keep clicking Gustav Schneider, and every time I immediately remember before seeing him that I shouldn't have bothered. Anyway, Humphrey Burkert, you are headed to Guanyar. I would like to see if Mr. Eschen is there. That's Scryer. No. Okay, wait. Don't bother attacking Scryer as yet. We only have one army down here, and I think while we will attack Scryer, we want to attack Eschen first, especially because they have territory we could potentially trade to these guys. Potentially. And I do say potentially because I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll find out. Anyway, that was somebody. Land Admiral Tintla, I know where you're going. Go out here. Get ready to attack... Well, I guess we could attack the Putrid Stump as well. Knock out these Skaven and then start moving over here. Though it's not nearly as big of an issue as it once was because we've gotten Carrick Hearn, so we should be able to trade that for Kreutzhafen. Anyway, Theodric Gossa, you are mostly here to follow Troop Train around, so we will send you out here. I don't really care about the damage that you take. Troop Train, you need to go into an camp and then follow Mr. Theodric, and you will also need a Fire Mage, which is on the way, as well as... I'm trying to remember what I wanted to replace the Nangao Grenadiers with. Oh, another engineer. That's definitely needed here. Now, these guys just don't fit in this army. I mean, it's kind of like the Slayer Pirate issue, where the Slayer Pirates are just an inferior version of the... well... They're inferior in the sense that we can effectively build them anyway, so you know what I mean.
Now,
Of the free companies. And the Northern Mariners are more powerful by virtue of having access to our red line buffs and stuff. So my point is, the Ananga Grenadiers don't really serve a purpose where the Bordermen exist. Yes, they have that lovely Heaven's Flash ability, which is quite nice. But I think we get more mileage out of the other stuff. Anyway, can we build engineers here, incidentally? We can build warrior priests. Is there any engineer building? Don't think so, unfortunately. Alright, well, we'll need to build an engineer down here, then. And send it up that way. Speaking of engineers, what do we have here? Field researcher. Might be good. I think I like the idea of the field researcher in this particular army. And troop trainer is still leveling, despite the fact that we really need to replace it. We have one ballistic plating guy, but yeah, we'll do the... And we'll do the field researcher. Yeah, losing the range also kind of feels like it makes sense. Oh, let's also check the master engineers, because we did need another one, and oh, still don't have the one I want. I'm not crazy, right? I didn't make up that there was one. Dolph, you have one that... You're one that increases range of the army by like 10%, right? Yeah, ballistics expert, that's what I want. That's what I really want. Oh, it's actually 25% increase for gunnery infantry, but yeah, the grenade units really could use that. But oh well. Anyway, let's see who's up next. We've got... Okay, Balthazar Gelt, we moved past you. Boris, I just moved you. And Von Kessel, I just moved you as well. Recruiter... I can keep holding on to those troops. Valmir's fine. Kurt Helborg. Continue up north. Actually, wait, we have to decide where we want to land you. We could go up here, help these guys out, or we could... Is this a port? Yes, it is. Alright, so we could land here and then move this way instead. I mean, granted, there's a lot of stuff to be done here as well, but we'll see. We'll see where we need to send him. I kind of like the idea of having Kurt kind of near to where Karl is at the current time. Anyway, Siegfried, move here. Volkmar, you are one turn, I believe, away from the attack on the Shrine of the Mighty Flame. Stay near the winged obelisk. And we could move Gustal Shiner in to help you, but I think we might be able to force these guys to sally out if we besiege with just Volki. Because I got some good stuff. Blood Knights, Terrorgeist, Karen Wraiths. We should give them a shot. And if they don't sally out, we'll just besiege and attack. Oh, but it won't, yeah, because of this thing, it won't allow a cinematic, which is another reason to do that. Anyway, Marcus. Okay, there's actually two things I want to do here. First of all, Mr. Recruiter Olden. At least for now, I would like you to grab Northern Mariners, New Altdorf Retinue. Wait, I just realized something. Did we get more money out of any fights there? If possible, I'd like to buy Parash before these guys build it. Parash... still not enough. Man. This is solely just to fix these guys' border, and they will build this immediately if we let them, but I don't see that there's anything else that we could give to them right now, unfortunately. It's not horrible. Okay, it's absolutely horrible. The border, at least these guys, this border would be in a line if we allowed that. Oh, also, Deravin Libre. I was going to trade you for something. It was for... Theraville, the last territory that we need from these guys, unless I'm mistaken. Alright, let's do Theraville then. Theraville... For Deravin Libre, and I imagine, yeah, no money from that. We could get you to declare war on some jerkos. Apparently those jerkos, go for it. You already at war with the rats? Oh, actually, maybe we should save it for when we can have you declare war on Scryer and these orcs. You know what? Save it. I just think that if we can do that, we can make the recruitment of the Allegiance troops cheaper, and obviously that has a fairly high value to us. Anyway, who's after you? Marcus, oh, back to you. Well, then I guess we're not racking up more cash, meaning we are going to get the cheapest units here, which I guess is the Grey Mountain Band, the Wardens of the West, and we might as well get the Nordland Mariners. And you Altdorf Retinue online? Get them in here. Oh, huh. Just had a thought about an army composition. Well, get them in here for now. We can always transfer them afterwards. And I just want you to auto-resolve Mr. Egram Ironcast, and hopefully immediately grab Pillar of Gog without needing to move Marcus down there. Or up there. Alright, you go here. Kill this. Oh, you won't be able to move up to the Pillar of Agagog, but that's alright. Really? Well, I guess this is mostly garbage. Yeah, they do have the Aspiring Champions, and you have Spirit Leech and... Ooh, Emerald Pendulum. You know what? Maybe this is more worth fighting than I thought. You know what? Let's fight it. It might be a small fight, but let's see how much effort it takes to bring down a unit of Aspiring Champions here. It should be a fair bit. Go.
You are all consummate warriors of the Empire, and with my peerless knowledge, our victory is certain.
Alrighty, here we go. Just a little fight, but I've said it before and I'll say it again, these have a tendency to be pretty darn fun. They have a pile of garbage, we have a pile of garbage, and they will clash and we'll see what comes out the other side. Anyway, looks like we start the battle off with the Vanguard deployed units of Free Company, i.e. the New Altdorf Retinue, and the Huntsmen, who quickly bring down that unit of Marauder horses, but does allow the enemy unit of Chaos Warhounds, or units of Chaos Warhounds, to charge. Another unit of Chaos Warhounds gets around the impassable terrain and starts running down our Huntsmen, severely damaging them on the charge. Huntsmen are incredibly fragile, and the Doggos, despite having less than half their number, take half of the HP of those Huntsmen and send them fleeing in terror as well. Oh, well that's interesting. Wait, Chaos Warhounds cause terror? Since when do Chaos Warhounds cause terror? Is that a technology that they have? I really don't wait. Oh, they use Aspect of the Dread Knight. Okay, I was like, wait a second, what the heck is going on? Alright, everything's fine, everything's fine. The Terrified surprised me, but anyway, with that we have moved a unit of Halberdiers in to help out against one unit of Doggos, but the other one simply runs through the Halberds and still closes the distance with the second unit of Huntsmen, both of which down now to about half of their HP. The Aspiring Champions are also giving chase, but there is no real point in fighting them directly with our Nordland Mariners, so we're going to keep backing off, and we're going to keep firing away at them. They are down to, well, by about 5% of their HP so far, but what we can do is distract them with halberds. The Aspiring Champions will trounce the halberds fairly easily, especially as these are the Bretonnian men-at-arms. Weaker than our own halberdiers, but they have to do so while standing there and with both units of our Nordland Mariners firing into the backs of those Aspiring Champions. Let's see how many pistol shots they can take to the back before they fall. Down by about 30% of their HP now. The dogs are out. The enemy lord is surrounded by halberds, so the halberds have taken decent damage from him and the marauders as well. We have other units of halberds which have closed the distance with the enemy warhounds and hounds of pestilence. Where's this Hounds of Decay? Hounds of Decay. Ugh. The fact that there's two units that are basically that look identical and are named Hounds of Pestilence and Hounds of Decay confuses me to no end. And I always say the wrong one. And I'm always shocked by how big these guys are. I mean, look at their size compared to the poor halberdiers. Anyway, the Aspiring Champions are now down to about 10% of their HP. 7 models still remaining, but it looks like they will shatter, having cut down droves of those halberdiers, but that's alright, as it was worth it. As soon as the Aspiring Champions break, it looks like the rest of the army, including the enemy Chaos Lord, is done. I suppose we could have, committed the same amount of resources to try and knock out the enemy Chaos Lord, but I suppose it wasn't super necessary, as the Aspiring Champions were still probably the bigger threat, even accounting for the Spirit Leech and the Penumbral Pendulum. Nice little fight. Alright, there we go. Just a small fight, but fun little fight in my opinion. Fortunately, well, the Aspiring Champions were very much a problem. The gunfire from, well, the small amount of armor-piercing gunfire from the 2 units of Nordland Mariners and was able to deal with them. Lovely. Army is destroyed. We don't have to send Wolfric out that way, which is great because it would be a waste of his time. You don't need the bow. And also you're a recruiter, so we definitely want you to be elsewhere. But anyway, Marcus, I would like you, and this is the reason why I didn't have Marcus do it, to grab the Isle of Wights and then proceed, if we can, to Mudflats, although that's obviously not as big of a deal. I just want to make sure that we have this entire province, since it has the Great Ohm, which is a great buff for our entire faction due to increasing our Winds of Magic capacity. Lovely. Anyway, you, I'm guessing, can go sit in the Great Ohm. Can you recruit stuff here? Probably just basics. Yeah, I'll just recruit some pikes. Probably replace some with other stuff, but for now, just so that we have something here to help out a little bit. Alrighty. And we can also immediately upgrade you. What's the corruption here? Pretty bad. Next time we have Inquisition up and running, we'll probably be able to remove it. Anyway, Marcus, you were the one that moved, meaning we need to find you in the list again. Although, by the looks of it, we are quickly approaching the edge of the list. Luther Custerman, you will be making your own army, a fire-based army. And that's it. Alrighty. That, I believe, is that for this turn, then, unless I'm mistaken. Gonna quickly double-check that there isn't any trade agreement available due to new territories acquired, but no, it doesn't look like it. And I noticed that the Slaaneshi factions are all still generally very strong. I'm willing to bet that they still haven't fixed that darn bug with the Slaaneshi that makes them spawn 1 billion units. Hey, we got over 100,000 prestige. Alright, well, feels appropriate for Karl anyway. Anyway, skip. Damage building available. Oh, that's one of the acquired territories. That's fine, end turn. Alrighty, ally begins outpost construction, faction destroyed, the drowned. Hey, the Bretonnians did manage to finish them off, so Neshigil ready for duty, somebody, and technology researched. There we go. Veneration to Sigmar, shouldn't be of Sigmar. But anyway, allows to choose one of 4 faction-wide army abilities, melee defense when defending. But the hit points plus 20% for all characters faction-wide, especially Karl, is pretty massive. And I wouldn't say no to the -5 corruption either. Alrighty, Nemesis Crown. Hey, it's back. We got a... Ooh, hello. Hello, Mr. Holdorf. Hey, you... Ah, man, I was hoping that you'd get a mage before this, but, well, I guess you're going to debut earlier than expected. Oh, minus the one unfortunate aspect of the fact that I was going to possibly switch you to a different lord. I'll think about it. The loss of 20 armor on the halberdiers by not using armor pedigree is pretty significant because they'd be so vulnerable to missile fire, lacking shields and all of that. Well, we could counteract it with a war drum, I suppose, but then we need to make more room in the army. It's really something to think about. Anyway, we'll think about that in a second. There was something I wanted to do as soon as the turn ended, but then the Nemesis Crown completely distracted me, so now I no longer remember. Well then. Anyway, I guess we gotta choose out of these, and I think it was Doom of Nagash that I decided to do. Melee defense, immunity, psychology, magical, and banishment. Imbuement is all great, though I don't... I can't say I like the fact that the banishment imbuement does... I guess it overwrites the imbuement of things like slowdown or various, well, you know, all the various abilities that slow enemies down, which is a little bit unfortunate. Safeguard the Black Gate is really great as well, but I think out of these, I'm gonna say Doom of Nagash. Especially since we're starting on our crusade towards the Black Pyramid, so it feels like it's the appropriate thing to do as well. The thing I like about Sigmar's Will, though, is that it effectively makes the enemy army very, you know, not effective. Because it does include missile and melee damage as well, whereas this powers up our own army. Maybe Sigmar's Will is the better pick. You know, I'm going to think about that. I mean, it's not like we really need either one of them right now, so it's not a big deal. And just something worthy of consideration. I believe, yeah, improved piston tech is 1 turn, so I'm gonna say do that because it's never going to get more than that. Ooh, also, let's move the tech thieves before moving anybody else around because I feel that Oh, you can reach Pillar of Ogagog. I was gonna say you cannot, but it looks like you can, just barely. Alright, new tech thieves, I mean, and then you can just reach it as well. Beautiful. Right before Recruiter Olden takes, and then you can go to Bola Hat, and then whatever others. Oh, lovely. And speaking of Recruiter Olden, go grab Pillar of Ogagog, and then if you could grab Karn Malog while we grab other stuff, that would be significantly more useful than sitting there. Anyway, let's buff you up or build you up, and then Marcus, can you reach Mudflats? Indeed you can. We'll grab this and we'll use it for a defensive alliance with the these elven jerks. And unlike Teclis, who has been an absolutely garbage useless ally, these guys actually have high tier stuff. Phoenix Guards, Sun Dragons, though unfortunately not the stuff that I specifically wanted, which was primarily Lothern Skycutters. That was the main thing I wanted out of the elves, which unfortunately it looks like these guys can't build. I could use some Shadow Walkers in at least one army, but yeah, we'll see. Anyway, I guess we can start from the top again. So, Karl. From the top means you. Let's say go to Aesir Pass, and I don't see Throggy, but nonetheless. Are you not able to reach this? You are. Alrighty, and then we'll attack you in a second. Just out of curiosity, this is... Oh, wow, a choke point fight. That's gonna be interesting. Alrighty, well, that might be worthy of our attention. Let's move everybody else around, though, or maybe not everybody, but and just get a few more moves going before we do. Now, you gonna continue going after the red eye rather than moving towards the Cornates right now. Oh, don't tell me you're going up there instead. Ah, yeah, game. Okay, I might fight this between the episodes depending on how long this turn takes because the game continues to be silly with regards to this. I would actually really like you to take this place, but we don't even have the allegiance to tell them to do it, which is a bit unfortunate. Oh wow, these guys have a lot more armies down here than I was expecting. They're not fighting each other. We could move Emil von Corden down here and fight all of these guys. That'll be... Well, if we fight this guy, we could draw in 1, 2... and nearly 3 stacks. Actually, yeah, about 3 stacks. It would mean not going after the Barrow Legion immediately, but it's kind of hard to say no to that. And, ooh, I see you're moving to where we were going to go. Alrighty, well, it is what it is. Oh, I see Orion's besieging Putrid Stump. Alright, well then, Mr. Land Admiral, you're not going to go over there, at least not right now. You're going to go up here. Technically, rats could ambush you while you're in march stance. Is it a good idea to ambush a bunch of tanks and helicopters with what we've got in the medieval world? Probably not. So good luck to them. If they try it, I mean. I don't actually even remember whether we're at war with these particular Skaven or not. I guess we're about to find... Oh, wow. The Sithral Wood Elves really don't like us. And it looks like Orion's starting to dislike us as well. Yeah, well... That's an issue. Most likely all the Wood Elves will break their agreements due to our friendliness with the Dwarfs, but it is what it is. Not much we can do about it, especially since our electoral machinations or the diplomatic talks don't include the Wood Elves, so there's not much we can do about it. It basically includes no useful factions in the old world map, I guess. In the other map, at least there's a bunch of elven factions on Ulthuan, which we would potentially be able to make friendlier with the dwarfs, so at least there's that. But here we don't have that option other than Teclis, which is... Oh, right, Grimgore. Alright, we got a bunch of fights. You know what? We're going to start with Karl, because it's going to get confusing now. Karl, this will be the last fight for Mr. Mr. Throg, but he is not here. Huh, I wonder if his army is dead or whether he moved away. I guess we'll find out after this. Go. Alrighty, here we go. The Norskins stand against us in a big ol' horde, but, well, it's a choke point battle, and our army is pretty good at dealing with that sort of thing, so we'll see. Hopefully we can get the enemy to move towards us. But obviously the first thing is going to be to take up a nice position in the center of the choke point. Oh, wow, that's a lot of missile cav, but I guess they won't be able to get as much mileage out of their cav as they'd like, and we won't be able to get as much mileage out of our cav as we'd like. So, somewhat even, I guess, in that regard. Looks like the first enemy unit will actually start to move towards us by itself, but this is a great thing, because if this unit moves towards us, it'll mean it'll start taking damage, and the AI has a tendency to, after taking damage like this, start moving towards us. There we go, the grenades come down, the pistol fire from the Noble Sons Abroad comes down as well, and the cavalrymen, the Marauder horsemen with throwing axes, killed to a single Marauder. Next units are on the way, and it looks like at least the enemy range cav have started moving. We are still standing in ordered ranks with the Knights and the Karlberg Great Swords out front, the 2 units of Great Swords, regular Great Swords behind them, and then, or to their flanks rather, and then the Teutogan Guard, the support units behind them as well. Anyway, we are going to use a little bit of magic on this just to clear out those Marauder horses a little bit faster, especially since they blobbed up. And while we won't be using magic on anybody else, I just wanted to make sure that we killed off the mounted units as fast as possible. And this is mostly so that they weren't going to, so that they didn't get in the way of the rest of the enemy army, because, well, getting in their way is going to be pretty ugly for them. And I'd wager this battle in general is going to be pretty ugly for them. Alright, well, the enemies are on the approach, getting closer and closer. And unfortunately for them, that means closer and closer to the bordermen. Grenades into this big old blob of Norskins. That's going to, well, that's going to leave a mark. Alright, there we go. The grenade explosions continue. Inside the enemy formation, they're also getting slowed down by the suppression and by the stagger shot a little bit, so they're moving rather slowly as well. And every single volley from those bordermen is absolutely devastating in the middle of all this. And yes, we could have used several spells in the middle of all this, but it's looking like it isn't even needed, as the bordermen are absolutely cleaning house here. Well, the Norskins haven't advanced much technologically speaking, and this is certainly showing the power of gunpowder. Alrighty, and the Noble Sons Abroad, and there we go. With that, the enemy army will shatter, basically completely wiped out by the Grenadiers. Gonna get one quick little charge in with our cav, because the Demigriffs are hungry, I'm sure. Oh, they probably shouldn't let them eat, I don't know, mutated chaos forces and stuff, but anyway. I just wanted to get one quick little charge in for our cav units, so you have them chase the enemies down. The enemy army may be routing, but it is obviously still of great value from a realism perspective, and to run down all the escapees here. Not so much in the gameplay, from a gameplay perspective here, because we obviously attacked an enemy settlement, and thus the enemy army is destroyed, regardless. Anyway, there we go. Very, very nice. We did take some damage to the Karlbergs as the enemy were focusing them, but otherwise, it's the bordermen. Look at that kill count. Let's see the damage count itself as well. Alrighty, there we go. Yeah, so grenade units are brutal against infantry at the best of times, and massed infantry in a choke point, yeah, that was absolutely disgusting. The rest of our army didn't even really need to participate, didn't even need to rely on a magical damage, where mundane, well, not artillery, but mundane explosions served 110,000 damage on both of the bordermen, and it's really interesting to see that they're within 700 damage of each other. I mean, they were firing at the same blob, but still pretty interesting. We did lose a bunch of Karlbergs, as it looked like the enemy was really focused on trying to, well, focus them down with all of the range units that they had, but certainly worthy of our attention, or worthy sacrifice. Anyway, occupy the place, and this guy will survive, though. Oh, actually, he won't survive. He won't survive because... actually, he will survive. Damn it. I was hoping he'd get stuck right beside Karl, so he'd be able to immediately sally out and attack him. Well, let's just hope he destroys himself, because we can't get out of the place, and, well, if we suffer attrition from him besieging us, that's what happens. Well, let's see if Throg's army is somewhere out there, not that we care that much. And hey, Skarbrand is at the Tower of Karak. Okay, well, then we can move immediately back up here. That's a duel I've been itching to get Karl. And Skarbrand has a nice faction-wide buffing defeat trait, too, so there is that. Dolph, I'm going to leave you alone for now. Gavin. Now, you know what, let's do some building, then we'll have Gavin fight against Grimgor. Speaking of the building to be building. You're fine. I guess we can build this here. I assume that there is nothing to be built. Yeah, well, okay, well, that's cheap enough anyway. Can you go into the Black Pit? Apparently not. What do we have in terms of open the gates? 2 more turns, so we'll be able to upgrade at least one place to tier 5, one other place to tier 5. We do have Commendation, we do have Conscription. Oh, right, I wanted to use this. Let me just take a look at our Crusaders here. You. Conscription. Right there. Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Alrighty, now. Those 2 Sigmarite... Okay, we'll deal with this in a bit. There's a lot of units to be moving around and transferring, as you can probably tell. Heroes, lords, etc., etc., etc. Crusader Wilfrigergiger, you are the Knights Panther guy. So you have your warrior priest. This Empire Captain is supposed to go to the Myrmidia army, so that's going to be in another place. What do we have here? Oh, we're out of capacity. Oh no, that's not good. We need plenty more Empire Captains. We've been putting them everywhere. Oh, we did get a Clockwork Spyglass engineer, though.
I will marshal the men.
Which is nice. Yeah, so you would like to get 2 more Snow Leopards with the Knights Panther. Why? It just matches the theme. Not from Urson Revivalists, and maybe from Great Orthodoxy? Really, you don't have access to... okay, well then. If that's the case, we can start a pistol army here. Recruiter Olden, I would like you to take the turn to recruit from the Great Orthodoxy, because we're at 100, and they don't have anything good, apparently. Get a couple of armored Cossars. Urson Revivalists don't have anything good, but that's normal because we're waiting for the tier 2 to be completed in terms of the recruitment building, or the outpost rather. And then Ice Court have 43. Wow, okay, we need to declare war on somebody near them because this is really overinflated right now. We wanted some Ice Guard for the second Ulrich army. To go with those... White Wolves, and damn, throughout the Unclean, and these guys are really cutting a swath of destruction through these territories. Yeah, we're... Alright, well, bringing a fire army to the Kislev Heights, to the Lands of Ice, kind of feels like it makes sense, so we'll probably start recruiting Luther Kusterman's stuff. We should probably also replace it with a recruiter. Oh, actually, you should be replaced by Helmut Feuerbach. Reset. I assume he's back up and running. Wait, let me just see here. Yes, alright. He's still going to lead this army. Reset. Replace with Mr. Helmut, who is the Elector Count. Where are you? Ah, wait, is this thing not in the same order? Oh, for the love of... Okay, where is... There he is. Defensive. Alrighty. It's unfortunate that he won't have the... I mean, it's going to be more of a sort of generalist fire army with lots of different stuff rather than sort of the identical to the other Myrmidia armies. So yeah, it's while it will have some Knights of the Blazing Sun because they have fire damage, it's still going to be a little bit different. That's what I'm going with anyway. Anyway, right, I got distracted. We got buildings to be building. Where is Builderman? I should rename him Builderman instead of whatever he is. We can't do anything at Valley of Many Eyes. We can head on over to Gorcel, I guess. There is stuff to be built here. And then we can briefly upgrade Fort Solace and then immediately head down to Marienburg and then see if we can still make it to Glimdwaro in the 3 turns before this runs out. And we're just gonna have to see. Alright, upgrade, upgrade, and upgrade. Lovely. Alright, so that was easy enough, and next up, well, let's build a few more buildings before we go into our next fight. East Nordland, yeah, we're probably not coming back here, let's go for barracks. Wait, East Nordland, are you done? No, you're not done, alright. I wanted to see if we could switch commandments, and then Marienburg, we're waiting on you. We can, however, upgrade this stuff in Eastmarch here, River Aberheim. And go for the Wizard's Tower. Yes, it's expensive, but it's got to be done. Gunsmith for you, and then Temple of Sigmar down here. Yeah. And while we are building a few temples of Ulrich, they're mostly in the northern territories. Wizard's Tower, Old Riding, Engineer's Workshop. As we can see, we don't have nearly as much of men as we once had in terms of building, and gotta love those materials at sea. Although they also, I guess the materials at sea also came in at a time where we were already looking pretty good in terms of our money making, so there is that. Anyway, Castle Tempelhof, yes to the upgrade. Newland, we will... Yeah, screw it, just build it, whatever. We got one more turn, I guess, until we grab Bola Hat, but this is gonna bother me until we do, so yeah, just do it. Anyway, Ashmere, yeah, upgrade you, I guess. Looks like we're keeping this place, at least for now. Grenier and Castle Paravent, yes, we're keeping ya. And we'll want to grab the Weaving House there. And the rest of the stuff, yeah, it kind of makes sense to keep the Menagerie in Bretonia. Alright, Moonstone Mountain and Mount Gunbad, we are not keeping you. We're going to be trading you to the Dwarfs. Griffinwood, yes to the keeping of the U. Let's get the Gunsmith, and let's get the Wizard's Conclave. Actually, Griffinwood does border several provinces. Well, actually only borders two. Probably going to put a Minor Gods Temple there just for the adjacency bonuses. Glimdoro, we're likely to be able to reduce your stuff. Same with Tumbledowns / Fort Solace. Black Claw Lair. We might be keeping the place, so let's build it up just in case we do, including with the paved roads. Word of Storm, Seathil. Yes, we are going to go for Taproom. We are going to go for paved roads. We are going to go for Weaving House. I mean, this place is never going to generate much money. Let's go for basic walls since it's by itself and it's on the border. And then, I mean, we still got to go for the Wizard's Conclaves. Got to get those everywhere. Anyway, Castle Drakenfell is one of the new places, newly traded. Weaving House, and then I guess we'll need the tap room here for the public order, and then here we'll go for the Weaving House as well. That one was easy. Blizzard Peaks, Blizzard Gap. You are going to be traded to the Dwarfs, but we've got a lot more territories to take. Don't collect the income, though, because I don't want to deal with it. What is this? Oh, Fort Berg-Bray. Fine. Go for the Imposing Fort, I guess. The less we have to see these things be upgraded, the less we have to see them be upgraded. Myrmidius Coast. Yes, Circle of the Sun is good. Paved roads, and I guess we'll start with the tap room because the public order here is still horrendous. Which does make sense. The place will still never generate a lot of money, even though it does have 2 ports, but we don't have room here in the Circle of the Sun to build a Weaving House, so it limits the amount of money it can generate. Ekrund. And guess we're investing in you as well. So go for Taproom, but I think maybe prioritize the basic walls over the Weaving House, because any territories that we want to keep in the Badlands are territories that we will want to keep fortified. Ulfwerenar Mountains, you're fine. You're fine as well. Langui, you are going to be upgraded in terms of getting ready you to trade to the Bretonians. Same with the Anas Hills. Montfort, new place. Let's go for the Taproom, and I'm going to say start with the fields, just to get you growing a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to take a long time. Alright, Mountains of Dawn. Burning Face Camp. Oh no, this place is going to be traded. Ooh! You're going to get another fight with the now 120 on the rank 7's armor of the Grey Mountain Band. Pretty good. Alrighty. Yeah, we got a lot of fighting to do this particular turn, don't we? Reekmarsh, you're going to be traded. We don't care about you. Quinnell. Are we keeping? Wait. Montlac and Vifin. Alright, we have to keep these. So let's keep them fortified. They're never going to generate money, but we can fortify them and put barracks in them, because clearly we need the capacity. Deravan Libre, we are going to trade you. I now am forgetting why I didn't trade you for Theraville. There had to have been a reason. Well, I'll figure it out eventually. Or I'll forget and just trade it. Anyway, Mortis Tarn and Guardian of the Tarn. What would we like here? I guess we'll want to build a shooting range and, probably replace the regular barracks at Mortis Tarn. We lack something here, as I recall. You don't have the Wizard's Conclave, which is unfortunate. Alright, you know what? Guardian of the Tarn, we're essentially using this as a staging ground for our crusades now, especially since the Guardian of the Tarn is a green territory, so it'll be a good place to recruit. Actually, speaking of, yeah, once we move these guys, I'll deal with it. It was Mortis Tarn. Let's, well, we will still want to build a public order here, I think. At least for now. Huh, actually, you know what? Delete it, replace it with the armory so that we can put something else in Mortis Tarn. Makes more sense to me. Alrighty, Karataman's Tomb will be traded, so we don't even care about the Plague. West Nalfari Mountains, similar sort of situation. Delved Heights, don't care. Oh, we should have probably built that exotic animal thing. We'll just trade it, whatever. I'll get Karakungor / Delved Heights. I thought I checked you, but apparently I went in the wrong order. Karakarn, gonna be a while before we can trade you. Strovengard, we are also trading you, so we don't care. Brittle Peaks, we are keeping you. And go for the Obsidian Quarry, and actually delete the Weaving House, and I believe I went for the Barracks in these as well, right? Yeah, Barracks and Iron Smelter. Although, admittedly, you are bordering several provinces, so if we wanted to, we could do the Temples of the Minor Gods. Common temples. But I'll think about it. And probably won't do, just because we need the capacities more than we need that right down there in the south. Also Slaneshi Giggle. Also, Achaeus, do we need to fortify you? You're kind of on the border with, yeah, but it will be all allied factions here. This will be our territory, and then this will presumably be allied factions. Hopefully we can get dwarfs into their mountains, though it's going to piss the Wood Elves off more. Watch us get into a war with Athaloran. I would not be surprised. Anyway, materials, let's see. You know what, let's just upgrade the Impregnable Fort here. I don't want to look at this place again, and then let's go to State Troop Levy to reduce the faction-wide upkeep. Well, there we go. That's all the building. Now, Dolph, I can ignore you, but Gavin, I cannot ignore you, sir. You are going to be fighting Grimgor, probably the last time we'll ever see him as well. I imagine that we can draw him into a field battle as well, because he's got 2 stacks. And I'd rather fight it in the field. So, let's level everybody up and let's get into it. I do think we should get you Amber Spear. I don't care that much for the spell, so maybe we don't need to max it out. Depending on what other points we have to spend. So you... Well, Arcane Focus is pretty good in terms of miscasting. Ooh, Untapped Potential is good as well. Experience is good. Man, we might actually have to forego Scouting, which is actually pretty nice as well. Darn. But it is what it is. We need the Winds of Magic capacity more. And we could still get experience for the cooldown reduction, specifically for the Flock of Doom spam. But I do like that miscast reduction. Even at level 50, I imagine that you're still going to be miscasting a fair bit due to the fact that you're overcasting constantly. On the other hand, you have a lot of HP to sort of counteract that. You know what, let's start with Experienced, and then we'll probably move through Arcane Focus and ignore Scouting. Sad though it may be. And then we'll probably get one more point in Curse of Honor here, because we're much more likely to use it than Amber's Spear. What about you guys? What do we have here? Augury is decent, at least for the weaker troops. You're actually fairly point hungry as well. Reduction of enemy charge. I don't think we need Immaculate Flesh in this particular army, but 10% reduction in enemy charge isn't horrible. Oh, if we want to make you buff troops with additional leadership, we'll need to go through both Augury and Soothsaying. You're not liable to do too much damage because you're of the bolstered leadership rather than the bolstered attack type, meaning we don't really care about fervor. Alright, fine. We'll do 1 point in Sigmar's Ward. Weird not to have it on a Warrior Priest. We'll go for Soothsaying and Augury for the maximum amount of leadership. Could actually then get you... Well, no, you're using Van Horstman's. I was gonna say get you a Crown of Command, but maybe you're okay. And I guess start moving through Beacon of Courage. You won't have enough points to get everything, but that's all okay. Alright, what about you guys? We have Retinue Trainer, Retinue Bard, Esteemed Combatant, the important stuff of that side, but not Deadly Onslaught, so let's move through Scarred Vet and then get you Deadly Onslaught. Have 3 points remaining, and out of these, I'm going to say get you Woundmaker. You guys need to be able to face off against stuff, though this army has fought Grimgor before, and you guys have no chance at dishing out any significant damage to him himself. Scarred Vet for you. And out of this stuff, you still definitely want Deadly Blade, and then I guess you can similarly go through Woundmaker. Alright, you're good to go now. Also, what do you have in terms of armor? I guess we don't have any spare better armors, do you? Alright, well, hold on to it for now. Let's go for Mr. Thograt Face Smasher. He's got Ruglad's Armored Orcs. Alright, so it'll be a good thing to wipe these guys out before Grimgor arrives on the field. Pyrrhic victory, casualties medium, but that is a lot of orcs to work through, so let's see how well we work through them. Go. I think this is the first time that I remembered that there's not going to be a speech from the Grandmaster, and so didn't zoom towards him, but towards the enemy instead. Anyway, here we go. We have Vanguard deployed our huntsmen who are firing over the cliffside at the enemy, where the enemy cannot easily charge them, allowing for us to take the little bit of time to close in with the Drakvald riders, with their strider as well as our lord leading them. They'll close the distance with the enemy rather rapidly, certainly before the huntsmen are threatened in any way. There we go, first charge of those riders. Followed by the other two units in a few seconds against those Ruglad's Armored Orcs. Like so, very nice. Alrighty, and now we gotta stop firing those huntsmen because they're probably gonna do more damage to us than the enemy is. Of course, enemy orc boys, Ruglad's Armored Orcs, and any range units of orcs are decent melee combatants with surprisingly high weapon strength and melee attack. I believe their weapon strength is exactly the same as regular orc boys, so they can fight in melee. It's just that they have terrible melee defense. And obviously less HP and stuff. Anyway, one more charge. Now the Ruglad's Orcs are completely surrounded. Their formation broken up, and these two units and these little armies out here completely destroyed. Our heroes have caught and pretty much killed off the enemy lord as well. They're just mocking him now, running around in a little circle. Alright, who's gonna get the kill? And I think it was... No, he's gonna get back up. Alright, I'm genuinely curious who will get the final blow. Unfortunately, Gavin's having a little bit of a tough time. He's moving too fast now. And, ooh, it looks like the Empire Captain on the Pegasus delivered the last hit, I think. Yes, indeed it was. Alright. Yeah, Gavin, only 650 HP because he kept running around the slow infantry lord. Anyway, well, we faced off against a horde of Norskins previously, and I guess a horde of Skaven as well. Now it's time to face off against a horde of Greenskins. And we'll see how we do. Now, we've got a pretty good position here that we've moved up all of our infantry towards. We've got a big old cliff, I don't know what the heck to call this thing, but anyway, big old cliffside here, impassable terrain, and that the enemy cannot move past. So, hopefully, we can funnel the enemy down into what is again, a big old choke point. And certainly, you know, twice the size of the choke point against the Norskins, but still a choke point nonetheless. And that we should take advantage of. We are going to leave a gap here. Generally speaking, I don't like to go to the edge of the map. I like to leave a gap so that if the enemy wants to get around us with their cavalry, they're still capable of doing so, but otherwise, we should be pretty okay here. Anyway, going to move the rest of our units into position. The Gundermans, the other range units, just going to take a little bit of advantage of this elevation so that they can fire down on the enemy below. And obviously with their entrenchment, they have got a pretty solid range. Alright, Grimgor is heading towards us as well, but as we've learned previously, especially in this army, but in many armies, we're much better off just killing Grimgor at range than dealing with him directly in melee. Alright, here come these Squighoppers, or Squighoppers and Boar Chariots and Pump Wagons, everybody charging in to those Halberdiers, but the Halberds will hold. Obviously the Pump Wagons, obnoxious units as they are, charged directly through them. And if this was in the hands of a player, they would have just charged through the Halberdiers, something the Boar Chariots cannot do. Which is, again, kind of somewhat silly and surprising in the sense that Boar Chariots gotta be several times heavier. And then the Pump Wagons, actually out of curiosity, mass-wise, 2.5k on the Boar Chariots, and the Pump Wagons are less than half of that, but they can still charge way better through stuff. Well, that's Pump Wagons for you. Grimgor is down to about 30% of his HP, currently being focused down by a bunch of our range units, and it looks like he's not going to survive too many more volleys. Absolutely no need to have him be dueling our Empire captains. Down goes Grimgor yet again. Alrighty, the other units are all just being held back by our line of halberdiers. A very nice imperial sort of look to this army. Also love seeing these spears and the halberds work together. Alright, and I also like the variety that we're seeing from the enemy orcs. Lots of different types of orc and gobbo units. We love the shadow of our... Now there he is. Of our wizard floating overhead, just dropping various buffs and debuffs. Obviously spamming that Flock of Doom. He has 0 kills, but 35,000 damage on him so far. And that's Flock of Doom for you. In the meantime, while our infantry is definitely holding the enemy back. Honestly, this kind of echoes a Blackfire Pass sort of battle. Just a giant pile of enemies moving down a valley like this. But anyway, in the meantime, Gavin has at last led his Drakvald riders with him. The Grandmaster obviously staying with the cavalry into the enemy back lines. We had to wait until most of the enemy reinforcements had arrived, leaving mostly only Y units, which were primarily goblins, in to reinforce, and the pile of orc error boys and goblin archers that were out there, so that the cavalry could run them down. Otherwise, it's a matter of holding the enemy. As I've said, we did leave the gap here on purpose, and it does look like the enemy took a little bit of an advantage of it, moving 1 unit of night goblin squig hoppers to attack our huntsmen and dropping their HP down by about half. We're going to have to back these guys off lest they get obliterated, and allow the units of... what are these guys called? Officer Squad to try to hold those squig hoppers back. Well, that's the plan anyway. And here comes another Flock of Doom in the center of the enemy formation. The huntsman should be backing off any second now. There we go. Severely damaged by those squig hoppers, mind you, but it's all good. And obviously, once again, we could have stretched it all the way from here to the edge of the map. I just think it's kind of cheaty and just try to avoid it whenever possible. It's just that I still felt like we should deploy here because this is basically the best location on the map to force this battle, especially considering the enemy reinforcements came in right here. Anyway, big old soul fire coming down from our warrior priest. Not a grand soul fire because he's not an arch-lector, but I think our next 2 or 3 lords are probably going to be arch-lectors. Maybe not 3, but at least 2. They do buff flagellants, and I do want some of them in a couple of armies. Crush them indeed. Alrighty, yet another Flock of Doom coming down upon the enemy, and the balance of power has shifted to about 85% in our favor. Hey, our wizard's starting to rack up that kill count, finally up to 140,000 in damage, but the damage is obviously much bigger than the kill count. If Elspeth or Gelt had 140,000 damage, they probably would have had over 1,000 kills. That's kind of the nature of the Flock of Doom, but it is very, very effective against these hordes of enemies that we've been encountering. And pretty clearly, as with that, the battle is ours. The hordes have failed to breach the lines of halberdiers, and the battle is ours. Very, very nice. I love seeing the ordered ranks. Alright, and we are going to do a little bit of chasing, a little bit of extra damage as much as we can. We did force Grimgor to get drawn out of the settlement, so any unit that escapes will be a unit we'll have to fight and/or auto-resolve, hopefully auto-resolve, again. Alrighty, there we go, another victory for Gavin's army. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I really like the simplicity of armies like this. I mean, we're basically using tier 1 and 2 troops, with the exception of Gunderman's Surefires with these 2 units, which are tier 3, but everybody else are basic units. Basic Empire Knights, Halberdiers, our 1 unit of Spearmen, Sigmar's Toothpicks, that are sort of the tip of the, well, spear, and a couple of Huntsman units. It's a really nice army. It gets the job done, and fun to play as well. Anyway, in terms of damage, we've got, looks like one of the unnamed ones got 45,000 damage, 30,000 on Spera here, and let's see, did I name anybody else in this particular army? Francis Forks, 14,000 damage, 191 kills, certainly lots of damage to those poor orcs. And Drakvald Watchers and the Halbards, or Halbards, are 14 and 14k. Huh, looks like all of the Halberdiers are roughly getting similar to 14k, though these guys went a little bit over. Superstition gone. Anyway, we will go for Praise Sigmar to heal up. And then we should be able to knock these guys out, or at least I hope, because we're about to find out. Auto resolve, yes. More damage than the actual fight itself, but hey, still earned your heroic victory, well done. And then we will, yes, build the Cinnabar mining pit here, at least for now, in case it gives us a trade agreement with somebody, but obviously we don't really care about that. Also, Dieter Gosser is in somebody else's army. Wolfram Blaze is also in somebody else's army. Okay, we're just going to have to take a look at their mounts, whoever those guys are. I guess they got XP transferred from these two via the via mentor trade, which I guess does show that it's working. Now you have a regular horse, and generally speaking, we keep Gavin with these guys, and maybe we keep one on Pegasus for a quick sort of a repositioning, and then you, Empire Captain, maybe we'll put you on foot. Makes you real cheap, but I don't know. I kind of like you at the front with these guys. We will keep the Warrior Priest on his regular war horse, such that we have regular horse, we have no horse, we have Pegasus, we have Griffin, and then we have Barded war horse. So a different mount for every single hero. I guess the Barded war horse and the regular wait, is the regular war horse also a Barded war horse? Yes, it is. Shut up. Close enough. Oh well. Jurgen, your turn, sir. You were going to hit Nalheim rather. You were going to go here. And this looks pretty auto-resolvable to me, so auto-resolve it. Occupy. Lovely. Headsman, and enemy killed in battle. I wonder where Village is this time. You can keep that Toll Keeper for now. And... alright, this doesn't produce anything. But I built it anyway. Just because I could. Anyway, Waldemar Biber. I mean, I guess we could level up some of those territories or build them just so that they could be traded at a higher level. We do have the spare cash now. Oh, actually, we probably have the spare cash of these guys. Oh, they didn't build it. Okay, wait. Colonize.
By the comet.
And Hamlet now. I would like to see...
Men of the Empire.
Trade.
Why do you seek the halls of
Parash. And then we trade you nothing. We go for the military alliance and we pay you 31,000 gold. Alright, it's a lot, but it's not horrible. Just to fix the border because it's going to bother the heck out of me. Let's do that. Alrighty. And then, frankly, if they break the military alliance later because they start hating us because we're allied with all the dwarfs, well, then they break it. If they try to draw us in, we attack the dwarfs, our oldest allies. The dwarfs have done so much more for the Empire than Wood Elves have, so yeah. And the Lorelorn Wood Elves are their own thing, so they wouldn't care about us fighting these guys, at least not as much as you would think, at least. But anyway. Obviously they'd care, but, you know. Anyway, Governor, you're fine. Theodoric von Bluten, you will try to land at Casas, which, yeah, by the looks of it, you can do. And then we cannot auto-resolve it. Okay, I might do this one between the episodes as well, because it's a waste of time. We shall see. I'll leave you alone for now. So now we have 2 of those, but, yeah. Elspeth, can you reach the high place? You can indeed, so go to the high place. You should be able to auto-resolve that while Mr. Wolfram Blaze starts traveling elsewhere. You can deliver those cannons to somewhere. And I take it this is also rats? Alright, this we can obviously auto-resolve. Nope, quick save. It's gonna kill the war wagons, isn't it? Almost completely sure it's gonna kill the war wagons. Also, I'm trying to remember which one of these guys is which. Okay, you're the champion, so you can get that. Does Elspeth still need the flaming attacks? Alright, quick save it. I'll risk it. Don't screw me on this game, please. You know what? I'll save it. Maybe I'll do that between the episodes, and then I won't have to risk it. I could just do it manually, if I remember. Hopefully I do. Emil von Corden. Oh, yes. Okay, this is much more important to attack this, which we will do in a second. We traded this. We're not inclined to keep it. We're just going to give it back to Carcassonne. Funnily enough, we could get the entire Castle Quesnel province, or Quesnel province like this, if we trade Castle Quesnel for one of these territories. How much would this bother me? Honestly, somewhat. It would bother me somewhat. I really wish that Montlac was not part of the Imperial territory, because then at least we could keep the stuff up here. Like, Vifin and Montlac, 2 of them are in our territory, and then 2 of them are not. It really shouldn't be that way. This whole thing needs another look-see, and it should be 100 out of 105 to max it out, so that we can forego needing Elftown, Lower Lorne, and Bugbin's Brewery, as there's no need for those. But anyway, I digress. We'll probably trade that back in a bit, but who knows, we might need that to trade something else. And how are we for Confederation? 2 turns. Alright, I wanted to do something, but I no longer remember what it was. So Emil von Corden, let's level you up. Let's see if we can't fight those 3 stacks at once, shall we? Still have not decided between this. Leading the charge is nice, because it buffs the entire army, but we already have a massive amount of charge on... Well, I guess not the Pistoliers, but... you know, the demigriffs. Do we need stronger demigriffs, or do we want a stronger lord? I will continue thinking about it. For now, though, you can have... well, actually, maybe we'll get you Foe Seeker to reposition faster. Get your Scarred Vet so that you have more HP. This will give us even more HP. Oh, this also gives you Missile Block. Huh. Yeah, that makes it quite nice, doesn't it? Anyway, Deadly Blade into Foe Seeker, and then we'll look at the other stuff later. It's not like we're afraid of missile damage against the undead. Woundmaker, or at least against these undead. Woundmaker, and then raise your hammers as well. You. Definitely Soulfire and Righteous Fury for the buffs. We have Retinue Physician maxed out now, and thus... could start moving towards Faith's Bastion, or could go to Bolstered Attack. Since the immunity to psychology is useless for the demigriffs. So I guess, yeah, Bolstered Attack is the way to go. Not that I wouldn't like the physical resistance for them, but it's not a crazy amount, and maybe we don't really care about the enemy charge bonus, so let's do this. Armor of Righteousness. Glorious Abandon... minus 15 armor for 40% weapon strength, minus 15 armor. Man, that's a lot of your armor gone. I'll do the massive amount of increased attack, I think. And the leadership, this tunnel vision is actually terrible, and I think we're not going to get it. Let's do that, and then bolstered attack when we can. Alright, Jade Wizard. Got a few levels on you. Earthing, Magical Reserves, Arcane Conduit, that one's easy. We should max out Regrowth. We have Earthblood and Shield of Thorns, which are the important ones, but let's get Flesh to Stone for emergencies. Empire Captains. Esteemed Combatant, I guess. I don't see you getting attacked anytime soon, but we should still have that, and then into Retinue Trainer. And then out of these, I think we can by and large ignore them. We should probably max out training on all of you, just so that we don't have to look at it. Sparring Practice, Guardian, Killing Blow, and then Esteemed Combatant. And we are the Elite. Good. You, kind of a similar situation. Killing Blow, Esteemed Combatant, Retinue Trainer, and... are you missing something? I don't know, just go for training. Just so that I don't have to relook at it, and I'm aware that they don't stack, but I just don't want to try to keep track. Esteemed Combatant, Retinue Trainer, and I guess 1 point in training. Alright, good enough. Let's see about those stacks, shall we? This is not the edge of your range, but the missile resistance won't help us here, will it? So there's no purpose to this. They don't have any range units? No. Go in regular stance then. Alright, I'm hoping that they will fight and not run. They should have a lot of... well, they do have a lot of enemy units, and they will indeed fight. Valiant defeat, casualties high. We'll see about that. It may be a lot of undead, but these are demigriffs we're talking here. Go.
Victory set against a red sky.
Alrighty, here we go again. Another giant pile of enemies. Kind of an interesting episode. We had that one tiny fight against Chaos, but then every single other fight was against 2 or 3 enemies stacked. And just facing down those hordes of destruction, I guess. I guess the undead aren't really destruction, but you know, you get the idea. Anyway, here comes the first charge of the Demigryph Knights, sending many of those garishly dressed zombies flying, and oh wow, the Necromancer. I feel like I feel like the Necromancer's clothes should be more dirtied or something like that. That's the, I don't know, the incongruity between what we should be saying. What we are seeing. But anyway, the enemy Necromancer won't be bothering us with that garish color scheme too much longer. I noticed that the Graveguard only have the red on them. That's kind of interesting. Even the skeletons have both red and yellow. I guess the red is the primary color of the color scheme, and then the yellow is the secondary color. Interesting that the Graveguard only use the primary color. Interesting. But anyway, Necromancer just about done for, 63 HP, and it looks like obliterated by one of the Demigryphs. This isn't a real army out here, just a couple of enemies, just a little bit of a warm-up for our piles of Demigryphs here. Don't even need to heal them or buff them or anything like that, but that's alright. We got plenty more enemies where that came from. Going to reposition the entire army and get ready to charge the big old pile of new arrivals. And there we go. We got 2 full stacks arriving over on this side of the map, and then the other 3rd stack arriving on the other side of the map. Here comes the first charge. Bruckner and the other champions lead the way. There we go. Graveguard go flying just as far as zombies do. Absolutely beautiful. We'll charge right through them. Ooh, it does look like the enemy will try to countercharge us with a little Vargulf. I don't know why I said little, considering it's pretty big. Although, something I've learned in times past to see, there you go, the Demigryphs have enough mass to actually bowl a Vargulf over. Which is kind of surprising, but I have found that Vargulfs do have a tendency to get bowled over by stuff. I don't know if they have a lack of, I don't know, charge resistance or something. But they do have a tendency to get bowled around by things, even considering the fact that Demigryphs are much smaller than they are. But anyway, not a big deal. We'll leave the Vargulf to one of the heroes or lords and just keep on charging through those zombies. In fact, maybe we'll do a little bit of sitting down and just attacking rather than doing the whole charging thing. Otherwise, the enemy won't have a chance at all to do anything. And this is the nice thing about using an army like this, where we only have a few units. Also, if you're wondering where the Pistoliers are, they're hidden in the woods. They're not needed here. They are mostly used in this army to chase enemy troops down or go after enemy range units, generally speaking. But they're not really here to be part of this army so much as they're not needed. The whole idea behind this force was to supercharge our Demigryphs, which admittedly they very much are. Anyway, all the Demigryph piles are completely surrounded by those piles of garishly dressed zombies, but they're doing fine. On the occasion that we get one of them a little bit damaged, we simply heal them up with that Jade Wizard. And obviously we're not dropping any damaging spells on the enemy, though I do make the exception of using the Shield of Thorns, as I do like that. It speeds matters up a little bit, and the damage reflection makes us a little bit tankier as well. Anyway, Vargulf is still pretty okay, but we've been kind of busy with everybody else right now, so until now, so it is what it is. And while we're just sort of acting as regular cavalry here rather than shock cav, in that we're not abusing the mass and charge capabilities of our Demigryphs, we do have a 3rd stack coming in, so we can just charge them instead. Want to do a little bit of both. And again, give the enemy a chance, because you can be pretty obnoxious with cav like this. And if we're trapped like this, maybe the new arrivals, the more elite elements of the enemy army, those halberd-wielding and greatsword-wielding Graveguard, as well as that Black Coach and Crypt Horrors, have a chance to actually dish out some damage. We are, however, going to react to this, sending our Lord and at least one of our heroes to deal with the enemy big boys. I believe Theodore Bruckner is going after the Crypt Wars and has debuffed them with the Titan Headsman ability, dropping their melee defense down to a mere 7. And the Sundering Armor helps as well. Black Coach is in bad shape now. Well, actually not yet, but it will be in bad shape soon. In fact, this entire army is in pretty bad shape by the looks of it, as they are starting to melt away. One of our units of Demigryphs has peeled away to try to go after that Vargulf, which has started to grow at least a little bit annoying. Probably should have actually peeled away a unit of halberds rather than lances, but the reason I wanted to do this with the lancers was so that after they were done with the halberd, or with the Vargulf, oh, poor thing just keeps getting bowled over. I feel like they should maybe up its mass or something. It's got 4,000, but it's still sent flying constantly. Anyway, the reason I wanted to do this with the Lance unit was that while the rest of our units were just sitting there, we could have a few charges with these guys. Charge one unit, back up, charge through those Graveguard. Yeah, we could have just kept this up for the entire army and killed them all. Perfectly viable strategy. Huh, I like how one of the Black Knight's horses is escaping, and it seems like it's the only one. Alrighty, anyway, now that the third army has arrived, we're just going to charge on through them because we can. There we go. And a few more zombies. I don't think you're going to be capable of tarpeting the... the Demigryphs. It's obnoxious. It's absolutely obnoxious. And there we go. Charge right through the second stack. Looks like that charge alone took them down to about half of their HP and broke the enemy army as well as they begin to melt away. A second charge will probably see them all destroyed. We're going to charge these guys, and then we're going to turn and do one more charge through the rest. Beautiful. Look at the hair on all those zombies. The Demigryph Knights must be having so much fun. And there we go. And it looks like we got one more charge in us. The enemy is down to about 10% of their HP. A few units remain, and they'll get run down by the remnants of the Demigryph. Oh, remnants of the Demigryph, by the rest of the Demigryphs. And with that, the battle is ours. Absolutely fantastic. Gotta love this army, obnoxious though it may be. And yeah, imagine if instead of 5 units of Demigryphs, we were using a nearly full stack. It would be so obnoxiously unnecessary. Alrighty, there we go. Absolutely a close victory. In what world is that a close victory? Okay, not a single Demigryph fell. We did not use up any of our ammunition because we did not use the Pistoliers, and they were unnecessary here. So, yeah, if you were wondering why I didn't put anything else into this army, we don't need tanks. We certainly don't need more Demigryphs, as 5 is more than sufficient, and the Pistoliers are mostly here to observe as well. Sure, we could build an army with like Warbear Riders included and stuff like that, but we just don't need them. And these guys do monstrous damage. Wow, 100,000 damage on these ones, and 80,000, 82,000 on a couple of the others. I'll name some of you guys next episode, I think. They deserve it. Surprisingly solid damage on Emil von Corden. Well, maybe not so surprisingly, as the Griffin allows them to do much more damage than the Grand Masters do, which is kind of interesting. 12,000, 16,000, 17,000 solid work out of the Empire Captains as well. Yeah, the Grandmasters really need the Demigryph mount as an option. It's they're really limited in what they can do in their current form. They're rather weak lords, though on the other hand, I guess it gives you more of a reason to take Empire Captains, because with Armorer Pedigree available on the Grandmasters, their trait is thus generally speaking stronger for any infantry-heavy army, which is somewhat interesting, but anyway, whereas the captains are much more killy, like 3 times as killy, plus they can fly and reposition and have a massive amount of HP on top of that. But anyway, I digress. Lovely little fight, certainly worth coming down here for it. We took no damage, so no need to bother with any of that. And hopefully we could just take over Rivola next turn, or actually this turn, immediately after. You know what I mean. Which we can by the looks of it. Good. Go do this, auto-resolve, And will this do more damage to us? Losses? What? Wow, what the heck, game? Okay. And one of the demigryphs died. Okay, well, the game is being obnoxious here. But it is what it is. Collect income? No, we'll probably... well... Shield of Talos, I don't think so. We need more armors, hopefully some decent ones. And Curse-Icon, Missile Resistance, that one we might keep. But anyway, most likely we'll just trade Ravola and Viadaza to these guys. There isn't a lot of stuff here that has landmarks. Obviously it would be nice to take Admiragliano, but fighting other, you know, Empire-alike factions, kind of a waste of our time. We could certainly fight them, but we'd win. And it might not be that interesting. Let the Southern Realmers do their own thing and hopefully act as a buffer state. They're also pretty far from the rest of the Empire, even if we make a road all the way through the border princes like this. But anyway, who's up next in terms of moves? We've got Leopold von Bildhofen. You are going this way. And that's going to continue. Recruiter Albrecht, you're fine. Gustav Schneider, you... ooh, hello. It's time to declare war at last on Manny, who is currently at war with the... with Qatar. Join war against Dragonov Conclave for money. It's basically nothing. Give it to us anyway. Just because. It's the principle of the thing. Though I do imagine that some of the other factions don't like it all that much, but whatever. You are going to missile I don't know why I bothered to put you in a missile resistance stance or whatever. And you will besiege Shrine of the Mighty Flame. I'm very hopeful that they'll sally out. Come on, we have tier 1s and tier 2s. Flagellants, Free Company Militia, and then a bunch of Empire Knights. But at least these are the more powerful variants, but nonetheless. Troop quality-wise, the enemy should most definitely attack us. Whether they will or they won't remains to be seen, and I think we leveled up everybody except you, yes. You're definitely going Hammer of Sigmar into Shield of Faith. Should probably still get replenished troops into Organized into Retinue Valet. Well enough, we'll probably want Retinue Quartermaster in this army and then try to get Retinue Physician, because these guys are definitely going to get hurt. And then you have the same sort of deal. Go through Organized. Go through Retinue Valet, Retinue Quartermaster, and then Retinue Physician afterwards. Oh, I could have actually gone through to Benediction for you. Next time. All good. Anyway, at least the levels were pretty easy there. You could obviously reinforce, but I'd like you to sit here. Just in case. A, in case these guys come this way, and then B, oh, we should move these guys down towards you as well. You're supposed to be with Volkmar. They've been chasing him for a while now. Hey, but next turn we'll be able to... oh, actually, wait, this turn we can... a moment. Can you build Army of Sigmar now? Yes, you can. 0 out of 500. Alright. Let's... I mean, technically, you're not a recruiter, but frankly, it's super cheap here anyway. And then, okay, yeah, I'll deal with the swappage of the troops between the episodes there, because it's a lot, by the looks of it. Gustav, you're flying. Balthazar Gelt, you are supposed to head to Morgheim. Is Wurzag back here, perhaps? Nope, he's back here. Oh, damn, that's not great. He's gonna move to Dragonhorn Mines, and we can't do anything about it. Oh, well. I don't think we have another army there. Maybe we can build one up? I guess we're gonna find out. Obviously, we'll occupy this, because it's a waste of our time. As an auto-resolve it, rather. And then we'll head to Fellwing Coast. Yeah, of course, he built half an army and then jumped out of Fellwing Cave. I wonder if he can move to Dragonhorn Mines in one turn or not. It might be possible to build somebody to defend it. An Archlector, perhaps, with Unbreakable. Yeah, maybe we'll do you. It's not like we have a Master Engineer with a... well, the Master Engineers do quite a bit of damage. But nonetheless, I like the Unbreakable ability. And then you can't build too much in the way of regular troops here, but let's go for spears. And I'll probably do some global recruitment here as well, but I'll think about it. Anyway, let's move everybody else around. I did not mean to click you, my bad. Aldebrand Ludenhoff, you're fine. Gustav Hall, you are kind of... so these guys are probably going to declare war on us and go after the... oh, or they might move past us and move towards World's Edge Archway. You know what? Stay here. Do we? Yeah, we need the main stack to go after Howling Rock. Alright, which means, yeah, you're gonna go back here. We'll see how they react to you. You are still delivering Marius Lightdorf's army, so that's not going to change, and... What's the likelihood that you could take this place? Might actually be able to force a fight and then send Gavin back around this way to deal with these guys, because they have a lot of territory. It might even allow us to forego sending Elspeth here. Yeah, maybe that's the way to do it. Alright. Let's try it. You're going to move down here in march stance, mind you. You still need the Star River Patrol, but you don't have them available as yet, and I would like... Wait. Ow. I was hoping that we could use the friendly territory to get another troop, but whatever, all good. All good. We are... Who is that, by the way? Theon Kalb. Oh, actually, you're out of order. Baldric Stroham is next. You're going to besiege. And besiege Hildegrad like so, and then they should sally up because it's some good stuff. I would imagine, anyway. Alright, who's after you? Baldric, Stefan von Kessel, you... Oh, should probably move the Tech Thieves first. So you Tech Thief 1, and there was another Tech Thief up here. Oh, you annoying little... okay. They're just moving away from our armies in order to not fight them, and going after undefended territories. However... You're not at war with Boris Ursus, meaning we can just trade them this territory, and then that'll fix it. As long as we land you. Do it right now. We'll land you so that you can move to von Kessel's army. It's probably the better, yeah, the better thing to do rather than intercept. You can move towards this place, and then you, Toddbringer, who I just moved out of order again because I'm an idiot. We'll go into, I guess, in camp, since we still suffer attrition. Oh, actually, no, in camp. We'll go here, to Bragnir. And then brag about it.
I will marshal the men.
Like so, and like so. Okay, you better not die. Yeah, I mean, you got damaged, but at least you didn't die. Alright, and Power Stone, and you're looking pretty good. I'll probably trade these between the episodes. Man, there's a lot of things I have to do between the episodes. Hopefully I don't forget. More likely than not, I'll forget some of them, but it is what it is. That's the nature of doing stuff. Anyway, Humphrey Bruckert, you are going to proceed to Grouse here in the hopes of finding some Clan Eshin. What do we have here? In Grouse. I will declare war in a second. There's nobody there. Okay, so it's basically a free take. I would like to join war and ask, I'm going to say Arguelon for this. Join war against Clan Eshin. Take Arguelon's money. They're not using it for anything, and frankly, the poorer we can keep Durthu, the better it is for everybody. Join this, auto-resolve this. I don't think it's going to kill the war wagons, but considering the limited number of troops available to the enemy, but let's not risk it. Auto-resolve? Still killed the war wagon, because of course it did. Occupy. Alrighty, well, it's only one at the end of the day, and then you stay there. We'll see if Deathmaster Snitch attacks. I believe his main stack is here, and then we got a second stack with Fabrigir. They may very well try to overrun this army, and considering this army doesn't have melee troops, it's a distinct possibility that they can do so. Good luck to them. Anyway, that was Humphrey Bruckert. Who's up next? Alright, Recruiter doesn't need to move. Boris Broch, you... Okay, I'm gonna deal with those guys between the episodes because they need to be split off into various armies. I was going to have you two... Well, I guess you're just going to follow. Okay. You're gonna go here. You're going to attack, you're going to reinforce an encamp stance. And just in case this guy comes back up here. I don't think he will, but just in case. And then take this. And auto-resolve it. Glittering Scales, nice find. Ooh, Man, I had somebody I wanted to put this on, but I don't remember who it was. Gonna have to figure that out. Luckstone, no. Gonna turn that into something more useful.
Expert in innovation.
Yeah, we're gonna have to trade these. I don't wanna chase this guy. It's gonna be too annoying to do so. Anyway, that was Troop Train, who is now at level 18. Well, hopefully we could get Manorialism and then get a higher level Lord for when we finally find the trait and then we want to find. But then we could maybe use Troop Train to, I don't know, act as an actual army somewhere. Oh, I went to Troop Train and I skipped Kurt Helborg. How did that happen? That's me being dumb, I guess. You can move to Thorshafen. Volkmar, you're besieging. Did I build you siege equipment? I'm just going to assume that I did. Nah, I shouldn't assume. I did. Okay, good. Alrighty, and then of course reset the list. That's why I didn't want to check. Oh, game, why are you like this? Volkmar. Should be down here somewhere. There we go. Marcus Wolfhart, Gavin, you are fine. Ah, are you though? You cannot reach... Why can't you... Oh, I thought you could, but apparently you can't. Alright, fine. Go into camp stance, go up here. You'll hit Blood Peak's Stronghold and all the gobos there, and next time, that'll be a solid... Well, you already had your debut, but it'll be some solid fighting. And just in case, though, I would like you to remember your training. We are the elite and the important stuff. You should remember your training as well. In case those guys attack us, which is a distinct possibility. Alright, Colt Huldorf. I think, unfortunately, we don't have enough time to fight the Nemesis Crown battle this episode, so I think we'll leave it to next time. It'll be something nice to start off with, especially because, yeah, there's so much stuff I have to do between the episodes, like swap units around, move the tech thieves and heroes and stuff, that, yeah, it's going to be extra work for me. So I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to do that, and then when we come back, we will start with another battle, and possibly two, unless I'm misremembering. And then we can end the turn and then proceed to more fun stuff. Lots more battles to come, more armies on the way. We got 3 Crusader armies, which are very nearly complete, and we'll also have a nice, flagellant army or two, and going out there in a few turns as well. We'll start at least one here, and we'll probably send a couple of other different ones out. Gotta have some caravans and stuff. Fortunately, there's a lot of enemies here. Between Scrag, who has a massive amount of territory, he had like 30 settlements alone, and an Arcan down here. But anyway, stay tuned for more Karl. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.